Taz, and he goes jumping in. Amazing round. Great hatching from Taz.
Big flashes in and casts the ultimate. Lina, 20 health left. Oh no, she will flash. The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units. The amazing defense champion of the Intel Extreme Masters.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge here in the lovely Kiev, Ukraine. We're about to move on to the second semi-final for League of Legends, which of course will be an all North American affair with TSM taking on Dignitas.
Yeah, very big game. I guess you could say it was. Before the TSM Moscow 5 thing kicked off, it was the grudge game. Obviously, everyone remembers the WCG stuff that went on and all the scumbag chants that came out from every TSM fanboy to the poor Dignitas guys who are like, we've done nothing wrong. But these guys are all big friends between them. I think they've had to change their names. They were advertising the presidential primaries, I believe, the Dignitas team. They had various names sort of set up, so they're just sorting those out. But the players have been ready and waiting. We've obviously just waited for that StarCraft game to finish. That's happened. Obviously went into a best-of-5 format last final match. So we've now kicked the StarCraft guys next door. They're literally behind this wall. So Joe, I don't know how much you got to see of SK versus Moscow 5 earlier. It was a pretty one-sided game.
Pretty much the Nexus going down, right?
But
on the final game, so.
But both of these guys have picked up tactics of what to do should they get through to the final. They all think they know what to do. I'm pretty sure Gangplank target bans are in there, maybe even Shyvana. And it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it, but more importantly, how they get there first. Because TSM, obviously TSM Moscow 5 is like the dream final that people kind of want. It's built up that way. The whole event's built in that way. But Dignitas are like, hang on a minute, don't forget about us. And I believe it was an interview yesterday with I Will Dominate, which went with Daniel, who's like, hang on a minute, we could get to the final. What are you writing us off for?
Yeah, a little bit presumptuous, however. You know, could be not too far off the mark, actually.
And we are into the picks and bans, so let's get it underway because we know the game was delayed. It is actually the first game we've had delayed, which is not bad for a semi-final, so we've got straight in. Here we go. A ban immediately coming out there is Kennen. Is that AD Kennen that was possibly targeted? It's what Moscow 5 have been using for the last 2 games. And of course, this is an all-American fair, so Gragas being banned out, that's targeted towards Reginald. A lot of people favor him as like one of the best Gragases in the world. I'm sure Shushay would argue maybe, probably more famous for it. Rise being targeted straight out as well, so Skara. Well, we will see a Karthus target ban as well. I'm not too sure about that one. There's a lot of counters towards him. Rammus being banned out by Dignitas. It has been what TSM used earlier on in this tournament in the jungle, but the odd one really has a lot available to him. Obviously, Maokai is probably what he's now famous for, and TSM ban out Maokai, so that's going to be taking it away from both teams. What will the final ban be from Dignitas? And will it be towards a jungler? I'm not too sure. Remember, obviously, of course, I Will Dominate. This is his first offline major tournament that he's been to with Dignitas. I'm not sure if he was at IPL or MLG Providence. I don't think he was. I'm pretty sure it was still Jack back then. I'm trying to think when he joined him, and it's really just after WCG, so it's been very soon that he's done it. And Karthus is the final ban, which came from Dignitas, more importantly. So actually a couple of bans which I'm not too sure would have gone in there. But remember, this is an all-American fair, so they don't need to worry about like the picks that, say, some of the Europeans teams would take. Certainly, like, say, Empire or SK, they'd be targeting different ones. And immediately Sona picked. Now, I was talking to Reginald. We actually watched the Moscow 5 SK game. I was sat with TSM. They were all at the front. There was a couple of gaping mouths after the first match. I can assure you when there were all the invades that were going on from Moscow 5, and they're like, we're screwed, guys. But they were saying that Sona is really the most overpowered support in the game, and actually one of the most overpowered heroes in the game, they think, at the moment, which is an interesting thing because we've been bigging it up for months.
Yeah, and I actually read on Reddit before we started this one as well. Jack made a really cool post. Actually, great to see that Jack's still being involved with that, about this game and how he thinks it's going to go. And one of his major points was actually this support war that they like to ban out Soraka and then take Sona first pick. Obviously, Soraka not banned, but they did lock in Sona straight away from that first pick. Dignitas, they've gone Nunu with Sivir straight away, so already getting their bottom lane done and dusted right off the bat.
Yeah, and then it's the Nunu support lane. They were talking about it. I've just literally chatted with Skara before we came out. I was like, oh, he's like, shouldn't you be over there? So we're waiting for the stage to empty. So we managed to run straight off, and he's like, well, we generally run Nunu support, so we've kind of got used to it now. So we're not surprised by some of the stuff that Empire have done, obviously now known as Moscow 5. Now the odd one looking like he's going to be taking Lee Sin in the jungle. And the bottom lane, of course, is picked out there. So it's a pretty standard bottom lane between the two. Nunu support has actually become a bit more of a standard support of late. Obviously, about a couple of months ago, then it wasn't really seen too much. Skarner in the jungle. So we've seen pretty much a standard meta from both these guys at the moment. And it is going to be Rumble top. I saw Voidboy was practicing Rumble top and said, we're going to be using Rumble. They were practicing a lot of 1v1. Scar and Voidboy, pretty much, they've been here for I think around about 5 or 6 hours, probably more than that now.
Yeah.
And they've pretty much been practicing 1v1s top all this time. They've, like everybody else was going out, you know, TSM was sat chilling and relaxing, watching the matches, having food, etc. All the time, Dignitas were at the desks practicing. So they're really going hardcore for this one. And TSM, well, we're going to see Rainman taking Aurelia up the top there. And it was interesting that Jad had pointed out that Rainman's actually doesn't have that much success against Voidboy.
Yeah, that was another thing that he had in there as well, and you know, he was talking about Providence, that Rainman had a good tournament there and actually did really well against him. However, you know, what we've seen recently is maybe giving Voidboy the edge in things. We are going to see Cassiopeia locked in for TSM, so Reginald getting to play that Cass in the middle there. That's going to be fun to see, and it looks like Galio will be the final choice as well for Dignitas now.
Yeah, so Galio, we've seen him a few times in the mid, looking like it may be switching across to Veigar, which is, yes, it's locked in. So we're going to see Veigar in the mid. Very nice. Actually, ooh, where's he going to switch to? Yeah, he's going to Skara. Okay. So it will be, Voidboy's going to be at the top there with Rumble against Aurelia. In the mid, it will be Skara on Veigar against Regibro, which is his name. It's not like we're calling it for a fact. That's what he's called himself. Obviously, Reginald on Cassiopeia. I think I heard a lot of complaints about Freaka and Xenon actually calling him that. They have put bro at the end of their name, as they like to do. I guess it's an American thing.
Bro's a real American
It's a Californian thing, I should say, not an American thing, more than anything. The odd one in the jungle, of course, that's going to be against I Will Dominate. See who's going to be really the more aggressive, who's going to counter each other. A lot of countering was in the SK game. SK Moscow 5 were just all over SK's jungle. It's something they're going to have to think about. And I believe Scar has been chatting with Wicked, and Wicked's basically said, look, the best way to do this is you gang at Gangplank and really go for the push strat. So it'd be interesting tomorrow if we see Dignitas or TSM, whether they actually go for that strategy. Obviously, CLG EU have had some pretty good results against Moscow 5. Pretty much the only ones that have been able to keep them at balance. Talking to Ocelot as well, we saw him interview, but him and Candy Panda were just sat next to Daniel, and he was basically saying, you know, what they've had to do. The reason they did the bans was because they've played like 5 scrims, and every single time a Karthus, a Yorick, etc. has absolutely walked all over them, which is why they were targeting them. They weren't, I don't know whether they were reading into the tournament of what's actually been happening in the tournament, saying, okay, well, that's what's happened offline, but in the scrims, but at the moment, you know, just the Shyvana Gangplank is walking over them, and of course, Alex. What do you ban against Alex? The guy's played
play everything.
The guy's played top lane in pro teams. He's played in the jungle in pro teams, and now he's playing AP. The guy, you can't ban against him because he can play everything. Obviously, we just saw Mordekaiser. But anyway, that's all about the finals, and right now it is going to be TSM Dignitas, and what a huge game. I mean, we've built up, Moscow 5 have been built up throughout this one, and this one's almost been forgotten. TSM, Dignitas, the All-American affair. We're going to have an EU versus the America final, guaranteed. Who will take it? Everybody knows on the forums you love to have these EU versus US matches.
You're going to get one.
You're going to get one. It's going to be interesting when Korea get involved in this thing.
I actually saw a thread about the fact that, you know, it's going to be a Russian team against an American team, and Russian and American teams generally in every competitive game in all esports, there's always a great rivalry between the Russian and the American teams, but we are live in the game. I need to just switch my mouse speed here, so
you can't move, but yeah, it does have a little bit low, but it's all right. I like it low for the scrolling speed that we have. You can see I tried to lower the scroll speed so it doesn't make you guys sick when you're watching it. And as someone that's just had to watch the Russian commentators, I fully appreciate map awareness and whether people miss kills. So I'm going to do my best not to miss these things. I know you guys hate it. So TSM at the moment looking like they're going to go for invade towards the blue around the back side of it. Meanwhile, you can see Dignitas also doing the same thing down towards the red. So double invade between the two. And TSM are going to walk in. And really, they have no idea. Let's have a look. Are they going to put the CV down? CV's up in a couple of seconds. Well, they may go straight into each other down at the tri-bush. No, it's like a conga line at the moment, going back towards the red from TSM. And Dignitas stay in place. And looking like they're going to port back. So they're not going to go for the invade, go towards the golems. We can see TSM now just above. Clairvoyance. The ward going down, actually. TSM put that ward down out blue. Here we go. I think we might actually get an engage. Whether TSM are going to spot them, because they're going to come in towards the backside of that brush, and they're just going to walk away from this one. Will they go down the bottom towards KX next special? No, they're just going to port away. I don't know if they realise just how close they all are to each other. The odd one actually starting on the Wraiths as well will get spotted. Now they've heard the noise, and I will dominate, just having a little poke towards it, and then just went straight back to away. So despite all the invade, actually nothing, not even a single hit, not even a single engagement between them, Joe.
Nothing, but, you know, very, very tense at the start of this. Don't forget, guys, if you've been used to watching the group stage and you might somehow managed to miss SK versus Moscow 5, which I had the unluckiness to as well from casting Counter-Strike here. It is best of 3 in these semi-final games, so you have to take the 2 map victories early on. Meanwhile, we have got both teams now settling off into their lanes, and Cassiopeia instantly harassment constantly onto Skara. We actually saw Skara in the last group game of yesterday playing Vega as well, and playing very, very strong. So very interested to see how that all lines up in the middle between Reginald and Skara.
Yeah, and of course down the bottom, the fact they don't have a sustain, they don't have a healer to go with them. Oh, we've got an invade already here. We can see I will dominate going towards the odd one, actually, vice versa. The odd one, to force him out there, has picked up the main Wraith. And Reggie Bro going round to support him. Going to keep her eye, like I say, down the bottom, because the fact that they have no sustain, no heals, which is why they're targeting straight towards him. Now, because I Will Dominate has been forced away, the old one is stealing the red buff. He already has the red buff. Will he go for the steal? No, he won't, because he realises that, oh, very nicely done. He's actually pulled it right around the backside. So now Skara's going to, I Will Dominate's coming down. There he goes. That is the red buff down. I Will Dominate has no idea. He realised the odd one was around here, and he's just looking around and goes, yep. That's been taken, so great invade already from the odd one, really on the ball. And this is what we talked about, obviously, with the Moscow 5. It's going to be how they're going to compare each other with the top junglers. IME is very, very low down the bottom, Joe.
Yeah, he is very low, and he's going to have to stick to his turret here, just using the boomerang to try and keep... flash in from X-Special and almost managed to catch him. Not quite enough damage to finish that off, but once these minions come in, we could see the buckshot go across. Actually, X-Special is going to go in there. He's going to get one shot off. The kill does go to KO. X-Special surely going to go down. Does get a heal off in the midst of things as well, and Nunu isn't going to be able to put that damage down, and that was amazingly well played by X-Special to get out of there alive.
Great juking around there, using the tri-bush to dodge around, completely lose Locust. All he had to do was one single ice blast, but he just couldn't get it off because he dodged around, just gave himself enough speed and gap between them. And, well, you know, I'm a cutie pie. He actually popped his spell shield, actually, to try and block it. And, of course, all he used was the power cord. You can't block a power cord because it's a basic attack. So instead of very nicely played from X-Special there, who at the moment is playing a fantastic support. The KX and X-Special lane down the bottom is very strong, has been very strong throughout the group phases. At the moment they've been back and by, because he double Doran's now on Graves, which will be KX down the bottom there. And of course we've got Boots being picked up with a couple more wards. The X-Special is looking like he's going to go place towards Dragon. He just passed the ward in the tri-bush. Yes, he does place in the main river. So good start from TSM. The question is how Dignitas going to reply. They've been invaded. They had first blood down. What is it they're going to have to do to reply to this one?
Yeah, it's a real tough one to call. We do have Both teams down at the bottom, fairly close to each other. We can see here in middle, Reginald is doing a great job, 40 to 19 CS, so taking an early advantage with that one. He's managed to nick the Wraiths a couple of times as well, so all great from that side of things, as IMQPie again is going to be harassed out, a little bit of zoning out from especially returns off to his bush. Chaos is now one level above IMQPie. We'll see if he can make anything happen with that one. Actually, Rumble is coming down here. Could get caught out if he's not careful. Managed to get his ward down. Is Irelia going to get in there? Exhaust is going to go down onto Voyboy. Surely they're going to be able to finish it off. There's the second one. Meanwhile, down at the bottom, there was a kill. Voyboy is not quite going to go down just yet. He's flashed away from that one. Wow, I can't believe that they've managed to that he's managed to get out of there. And we can see the odd one. Is he? He could have maybe gone in for that one. I don't know. It's always not so great to be diving in there. Meanwhile, we do have Skarner coming into this middle area, but Reginald up at level 6 already. Won't have any problems to get him away. And again, he's going to steal the Wraiths. Yeah, he takes them Wraiths, and really, Dignitas in all sorts of trouble at the moment. Very early on, you see the Prison trying to catch him down. Skarner just missing out. Down the bottom, it's been X Special that's actually been putting the pressure on IMQPie and obviously making the opportunities. He did actually pick up the kill in the last one. Less than ideal. Could have done with Chaos getting it, but it's not the end of the world, because at the end of the day, you're taking away the AD carry, and you can see there's already now a 2-level difference. IMQPie will probably level up there, but that's going to open up the opportunity and go for Dragon. TSM all over it. The odd one's already in there. Chaos X Special comes down, and they really can't do anything about this one. So TSM really just driving home that advantage. This is going to give them around about a 4k gold advantage, which is this early on, 7 minutes into the game, is enormous. TSM are leading the CS as well. You can just look across the map, and it obviously doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that, you know, when you're not in lane, you are heading CS. Therefore, it is 44 to 22 between Graves and Siva. So that's already developing into a pretty sizable gap, and this is just all about the fact that they haven't got that support to offer the heals, the sustain. Now we've got a 4-man Dignitas sort of gathering round. They have to fight for this blue. They're going to give it to Skara. We do have Nunu looking like he's possibly thinking about putting a ward there, but I'm not too sure if they even realise that the dragon is gone. Yeah, I'm not sure either. They've got no ward coverage up there whatsoever. They do have one in the tri-bush, which may have given that away that they were headed up there, but certainly they don't know for sure, I guess, that that dragon is now gone. Skara did get that blue buff, as you mentioned before. Meanwhile, Reginald is just going to get himself a ward down. Will he take the Wraiths once again? No, not quite this time, but that lane has been pushed from the get-go, actually. Reginald has done such a fantastic job, and again, he's going to be farming with these Wraiths like he didn't already have enough CS. 73 to 40 is basically what it's at right now. That is a big, big lead for Reginald, as we are seeing him start to work his way up top as well. Ping just went down. Rainman is going to start to put the pressure onto Voyboy. Reginald is starting to work his way in there. Voyboy does drop his ulti down, and he's going to go down here 100%. The question is, are they going to do anything about it? Reginald actually will get the kill. Skarner did start to come across, but there's not a lot he can do in that situation. Obviously, we saw the flash being used a little bit earlier on, which, you know, Voyboy just couldn't get out of that situation. He was pushed too heavily. Great move from TSM.
Yeah, Ping gone down now, so Skara's making his way down towards bottom lane. I think they're going to be aware of it. There is no ward in that tri-bush at the moment, so here comes Skara. Can he get the prison down in time? Yes, he will manage to get it down, but Chaos can actually dash out of that one. He wasn't stunned, does flash through it, and no problem at all. In that now, Locust is in all sorts of trouble. Oh, the ulti coming out from Chaos there. The heal, though, was used just about in time to save him there. Dignitas are not having any joy whatsoever. They can't manage to get any ganks off, and now we have the odd one coming through. Skara's going to have to back away from that one. Could easily been caught by the odd one there. Now the odd one's going to go and invade, because it's like, okay, you guys are pushed. We know it. They've seen Skara because there is a ward there right by Wraiths. So immediately Nears is available. Actually, oh, Skara's going to walk straight towards the odd one. Manages to get him straight down there. Will ulti kick him away, and Skara's going to go down to the odd one. Very nicely played. Meanwhile, back down the bottom. Wow. IMQPie and Locust also taking down very low. This could be a double kill for the odd one. Manages to land it on IMQPie. Oh, flashes just away in time from the kick. Very nicely played, but that is the bottom tower in all sorts of trouble. Bottom lane absolutely being dominant here. Really very nicely played by TSM. They are looking strong, Joe, for this first game already.
And unsurprisingly, Reginald said, okay, Scar, you've gone down. Well, guess what? Your mid turret is actually going to be taken away. There's a bunch of minions hammering away on it. Jungler having to come out there and try and fix that situation, as we do see Voyboy also put that ward down over by the blue buff as well. In terms of CS up at the top, Irelia at the moment 66 compared to 51. Not that big of a difference, but still that little bit of an advantage with the assist there. We did see Rumble go down obviously earlier when Reginald came up to the top, and slowly but surely, Demon, you know, TSM, they're looking like they're in a very comfortable position to, I'm not going to say take this one just yet because it's still very early, but it's going that way.
Yeah, we don't want to go solo queue method and say GG at 4-0. It's there's a long way to go in this game, but it has been stacking up very quickly. You can see there's 4.5k gold difference. Voyboy is just having no luck whatsoever in this top lane. Down the bottom lane it is being dominated, and in mid lane they're being dominated. So they really are up against it. There's a ping on down on towards Lee Sin there because they've got the ward down, so they know that he's making his way back around towards Voyboy. So Voyboy is going to wisely back away from that. Reginald again taking those wraiths down. And the bottom lane, the mid tower has gone down. Bottom tower is also very low. I expected that one to actually go down first. But KX, I think, is instead. Look at that, just total zoning out there. Xpecial is keeping Army Cutie Pie well away from this one. Army Cutie Pie at level 6 at the moment, level 8 KX. It stayed that way very early on, back up the top there. And they did actually manage to get the gank on Void, but that's actually a full-on tower dive. Rayman taking all the hits there, and I'm sorry I missed that one on the camera. We did see that he was going up there. I just didn't expect him to get caught completely on the tower already. And I Will Dominate had to come into lane. You can see he's a level behind as well. And it is just going very quickly wrong for Dignitas.
Yeah, the lucky thing for them is that this is best of 3 at this stage of the game. So, you know, even if they were to lose this one, which again we don't want to say just yet is the case, but it's certainly not looking good for Dignitas. They'll still have that chance to come back into this matchup later on. Reginald has blue buff on him as well, which is making him even more of a nuisance. Meanwhile, down at the bottom, we have finally seen Sivir go home. Triple Doran's Blade compared to Graves, who's got double Doran's Blade, Pickaxe, Vampiric Scepter, plus a dagger as well. So far ahead at the moment, 90 CS to 46. And it's going to be very hard for them to come back at this point. I think with Cassiopeia so nicely farmed, Graves so nicely farmed, something somewhere has got to change for Dignitas.
And it's not only the CS that he's missing out on, he's missing out on the experience.
Oh,
he's
but
just
top
not
Voyboy's in trouble again, and he's actually going to go down here. Ulti being used by Rainman, and, well, Rumble just can't get anywhere near him.
Well, we talked about it early on, saying Voyboy has always been strong against the Rayman, but Rayman really is proving to be much stronger in this game. Having and it's once you start dying to that same person in the lane, you know, it just snowballs very, very quickly. Army Cutie Pie again being harassed by Xpecial there, not by KX. KX is allowed to continue farming. Xpecial is the one doing all the harassment down the bottom here. We've got Lee Sin coming back in. Is he going to go up towards the blue buff? Just seeing him heading in towards there. You can see Skarner is actually in the bushes. There goes the Clairvoyant, so they can see that he's there. The old one just backing away. Doesn't want to get caught out, but he does have the rest of his team now coming up. See Xpecial. Are we going to see any crazy flash crescendos across? I don't think so. I don't think they'll be going for that just yet. The old one is not going to go for anything. Reginald not even coming down either. So big level difference as well between Reginald and Skara. As you can see Skara down there as well. So the entire Dignitas team now starting to circle for Dragon. Will they manage to catch him out? Of course, we don't have teleport on the Rainman, but he's going to take that top tower while this all happens. So it's going to be a trade regardless. The question is, will Dignitas be able to make it count and actually pick up that tower? The Dragon, sorry. You know, they're going to try and go for the kill. I don't think they're going to be able to make it. Ulti kick straight away. Crescendo straight across as well. Yeah, there's no chance they were going to make it. There was too much available. They didn't even need to burn any flashes there. They burnt, obviously, of course, the ultis. Reginald has come down. Needs to be careful. Scarrow just puts that ward down. And while this is all happening, the Rayman continues to farm up the top there. I don't think TSM are going to allow them just to freely pull this one out there. You see, I Will Dominate manages to pull the odd one in. The odd one will go down, but immediately caught out there by an ulti from Reginald. Picks up a double kill. Actually, Chaos managed to steal one. Voidboy going down. They're trying to desperately get away from this one. Army Cutie Guy, the poison is dotting. I don't think it's going to quite be enough to finish him off. Reginald's going to try and cut it off. no, he's not going to be able to land the poison, but X Special does get in there. Very nicely played. X Special is on a stormer here. He's 2-0-3, exactly the same as Chaos. And, well, TSM are looking dominant here. 9-1 up in kills. Massive gold lead, and now they're going to take that dragon pretty much for free.
Yeah, completely for free as well there. I mean, that team fight, it looked actually really, really good for Dignitas at the start. However, they didn't quite figure into it that Reginald was there. His ulti went across, I think, 2 or 3 of them. So much damage coming in all at once. Obviously, the crescendo wasn't up for X Special, but that didn't even really matter in the grand scheme of things. And as you mentioned, Rainman had a nice bit of free farm whilst that was all going on. He's past the 100 CS mark now compared to 66 from Rumble. So a big difference with that one. We've seen Graves finish off the Berserker Greaves, plus his BF sword is now finished compared to Sivia's 3 Doran's blades and the Berserker Greaves. That's just going to get even worse, even harder for Sivia down bottom.
So at the moment, Lee Sin making his way up towards the top there. Cassiopeia was going with him. They just CV'd onto the red buff. It wasn't up, which is what they were aiming to do. So a big invade. Voyboy currently sat in the bushes, and Lee Sin using that blatant Bruce Lee skin, which I've seen a Reddit post of, if you use this skin, make sure you're good. which can be said for quite a few things. But Scour, sorry, Armacute's point down the bottom here. He's been allowed to farm for a little bit. He's picked up around about 2 or 3 waves of minions, which has actually brought him a little bit closer, but you can still see his huge difference. 130 CS to 69. Massive difference. And the wards already being cleared out by X Special there. Has got that Oracle on now, so he's just keeping away the vision. If we just switch the vision, see TSM actually don't have that great a vision at the moment. They haven't got that many wards out, but Dignitas really cannot see a great deal. As I say that, they've just put 2 wards down, one in the tri-bush and one up towards the red buff. So they actually probably have a slightly better vision than TSM. TSM, of course, still, again, they can see Voidboy. They know exactly where he is. They know the position of everyone on the map at the moment. And are just back to farming, really. You know, the dragon's down. They don't need to push for anything. The blue buff is up, so I don't know whether they're going to try to invade for that. I can see Scara is hanging around there picking up the wolves. Whether he's going to go towards it. Sonar at the moment also, of course, is just really helping out, clearing those wards out, because Graves is in such a strong situation. He doesn't need that support down with him. You can see he's just on the tower. He's going to clear these out, no problem at all. But pick up all the CF, but steal it just from the tower. And no issues whatsoever, which is just freeing up one member of TSM to go looking for all those wards.
Yeah, and that's always a bonus for especially who actually doesn't really need the cash that badly. He's sat on 2-0-3 at the moment. He's doing well for himself. He's X-Special after we saw him pick up that kill. Again, more wards cleared out. Baron is now going to have no vision on it from the Dignitas side of things. And he wouldn't surprise me in a little while. Once Graves has finished his little farming mission there down at bottom, he's got 1,300 gold on him at the moment, so I could expect him to go back. And then TSM even set themselves up at this point. We're about to hit the 18-minute mark, 9-1 the kills, and over 10k in gold. It's just so strong at the start for TSM. As Reginald will start to move up a bit there. No one actually around at this point.
And another ward taken as well by X-Special. That Oracle really paying for itself at the moment. Graves has just ported back, completed the Infinity Edge, which is not too bad 18 minutes into this game. 2-0-3, double Dorans as well to go with that Berserkers. I'm picking up an agility pot. I've no idea the name of it in this patch. Oh, X-Special might get caught out here. No, he's got plenty of support from Reginald. Just back straight away from that one. And we'll get immediately CV straight down on towards Locust. Locust is going to have to back away from that one. Dignitas just at the moment trying their best to farm their way through this, try and get through the barrier that is a 10k gold difference. Voidboy, let's see, trying to take the raids there. There's a stack up the top that he's going to have to go and pick up. And TSM at the moment, they are sitting confident. They're not driving home. They haven't taken down the bottom turret. What they've generally done, which Freak was pointing out, is the fact that when they get that advantage, they take the top, middle, and bottom outer turrets all at the same time, sort of strip them down, just completely wipe away any vision that they have. But they haven't been able to do that at the moment.
Oh my god. Oh. Down at bottom, that was absolutely ridiculous stuff. Graves just walks in there onto Sivia and just bam, 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 you're dead.
Just shot him in the face.
Can't do anything about it. He just walked straight in there, killed him. He's taken the turret out as well. And, you know, that's definitely the biggest difference that we've got here. 3-0-3 Graves with Infinity Edge already finished compared to that 1-4-0 Civi who's just got a pickaxe in and amongst everything. We do have Vega has got that Deathfire Grasp finished. Cassiopeia actually going for Warmogs. A little bit healthier now is Reginald in the midst of things. Also supremely fed. He's the first one in the game to actually get himself over 200 CS. And Vega's having to really take things out of the jungle because he's so far behind at this point, Scarra. I don't know. Can Dignitas come back from this one? I mean, as you know, as commentators, we always like to say they can definitely come back from this one. But it's 12k gold after 20 minutes. That's a big, big difference in not so much time.
It is a huge difference, but remember Veigar does continue to climb. He continues to get higher in the AP scale. I'm not too sure whether they're going to last that long. That's the question. Oh, very nicely done. Reginald's going to get caught out by that one. Rumble's actually going to... I thought he was going to try and dive in for that one. They need to be careful. They've got no vision in there. Of course, TSM have 4 players around that area. Yeah, they just wisely back away from that one. A couple of ultis were burnt there, but that's going to be the red buff again going to TSM. Trying to keep my eye on the bottom there. It's hard to tell when one AD just decides to absolutely destroy the other. I completely missed that one. But Reginald just continues on farming, and that's what TSM are doing. You know, they've completely caught them out. Oh, Reginald nearly got ulted there by Dominate. He thought about going in for it. Remember, Reginald had just used his ulti a moment ago. Meanwhile, they have to deal with Chaos. Chaos is just like, you know what? I'm just going to continue farming down this bottom lane. Dragon has now spawned. I don't think there's a lot Dignitas are going to do about this one. They're going to try, I think, maybe to head them off. They're going to realise that Dragon is up. Yeah, they're backing away. There's nothing they can do about it. The Dragon will go down in seconds.
Yeah, they won't even get anywhere near it if they tried at that stage. They're taking it down so quickly. You can see there's 3 of them from Dignitas having to hang around in this middle area. That's costing a little bit of time for I Will Dominate. He's currently level 10, so he's managed to get up there with the odd one who, you know, throughout this game has been pretty much 1 level higher. As you can see, TSM are pushing now onto this bottom turret, and that is going to go down without Dignitas being able to really reply with that one either. So it's just slipping further and further in the advantage for TSM, and now as we start to get up towards this 25-minute time, I guess TSM are going to be preparing to get themselves a Baron. In fact, they're all headed over that way at the moment. We may just see that happening now. Yeah,
completely clearing out the jungle as they go as well. You can see the top area. Let's have a quick look towards the vision. Dignitas really don't have much vision whatsoever. They've got the singular ward there that they can see Rayman passing by now, which is actually Nunu needs to be careful. He's, yeah, the ward placements, they're going to see exactly where Nunu is. Aurelia's trying to head him off at the moment towards the top there. Locust is, well, he thinks he's being clever, but there's a ward straight in that bush. He's going to immediately walk in. Exhaust goes down. Chaos and Rayman. Who's going to pick it up? It will be Rayman, so thank you very much. That will move us towards the Baron. We got Dignitas again moving through, but again, they're just passing through ward after ward after ward. Beautiful control from TSM. They have full vision. Finally, a ward goes down in the tri-bush. Now they're going to say, we're not too sure. Should we go for this or not? They've put the ward down on Baron. They've realised, actually, TSM haven't gone for it because, well, the odd one's just taken the blue buff.
Yeah, Voidboy is actually going to portal himself home, and they're actually going to see that TSM, which means they may just change things. Actually, Lee Sin is down at the bottom now, and he's going to continue to have a little bit of farm in there. But as you mentioned, the vision, the ward placement right now from TSM is absolutely top-notch. This entire top side of the jungle covered in wards, and they can just literally see everything that Dignitas are, well, trying to do. They don't have much choice other than to defend a bit here, let Scarra farm up that little bit more as well. TSM now working their way all as a 3 actually. Meanwhile up at top we do have Aurelia chipping away on Voidboy, and to be honest I think he may even just get the kill with this one. We will see Voidboy try and get away, and he does get away. Rayman deciding to let him go from that one. It's going to force Voidboy to go home, lose a bit more time through that as we see TSM now pushing their way into this middle turret. They won't quite be able to finish things off, but this next wave should be a done deal for TSM there. As we see the poke constantly coming out from Reginald just to annoy completely as they try to defend this turret that they have left in the middle, which as these minions come in, Chaos is there as well. It's going to be stripped away very quickly. And actually, Odd One is going to be the one that kills it. Are they going to go now for Baron? I I think they're trying to lure him in here. They know, because they've got X Special there with that Oracle moving through this top side of the jungle the entire time, they know that there's not much vision around for Dignitas, so they could effectively set up a trap at this point by backing off towards Baron and just hanging around in there.
Yeah, they are definitely trying to set a trap and try and catch them out. The wards that they have down will be clearing out. I think Scar is actually going to land the he's going to land his AE in there, which will immediately spot them. He will be a bit slow to react on that one. Scar is immediately like, oh, put everything down, run, back away. It's actually just dawned on me the irony that Chaos is playing Graves, because if anyone's seen the video where the lights went out here in the studio, that Spotty was like, where's Nocturne? It's just, which is obviously Graves is the counter to Nocturne, allegedly, according to the voice thing that they have. So Baron being pulled here by TSM, and Dignitas are aware of that. They're going to come around. They know that there's a ward missing. I'm not too sure if I Will Dominate's going to walk straight flat into them, and he will, and that's going to be a very dead I Will Dominate. He's not going to be able to get away from that one. Immediately picked off. Rayman's the one that picked up the kill. The Baron was kept alive as well, keeping the hits on it. I'm not too sure if they're going to bother finishing off, because Reginald will be on a killing spree. That's going to be Skara going down. Meanwhile, Chaos is surely going to finish off Locust here. I don't think he's going to be able to get away from that one. Reginald tries to put the damage down. The heal actually came out there, and Locust having to use the Blood Boil and the Siva boost to get the hell out of there. Top tower is going to be stripped off now. So TSM really just systematically destroying Dignitas. Still 14-1 in the kills. The only feeder in the game is the odd one at the moment.
Yeah, feeder in in quotation marks. So we saw that in the Moscow 5 games actually yesterday. Those comments coming out, and today as well.
Genja was the only one.
He died one, man.
Yeah,
that's he's going to be cut from the team afterwards. Red buff being stolen away there by Rainman. Are they going to go for Baron though? I doubt it. Lee Sin and Cassiopeia are both home and shopping themselves. So let's have a look at Reginald, how he's built himself up. Quicksilver Sash he has with him at the moment. Will of the Ancients, that Warmogs from earlier, is actually maxed out by now.
Oh, I thought he was going to stay there. Overdominate actually came out to place the ward down. I wasn't sure if Rayman was going to, you know what, I could actually probably kill him here, but I'm not sure if the rest of the team are around the corner. So yeah, like you say, they've all gone back to buy. Charlotte's Reverie's been picked up by Sona so far, maybe even double or triple picked up. We'll see if anyone else builds towards it. At the moment, I'm not seeing any Kindle Gems that they're going to build towards that. So Warmogs, like you say, double Warmogs actually as well. Cassiopeia with the Warmogs, Lee Sin with the Warmogs, actually triple Warmogs, a Warmogs on Aurelia as well. So incredibly strong, tanky team. High hit points on every single one of them, and if by magic they all walk onto the screen at once, and you can see just those full high hit point bars. They really are a very tanky team. I don't think Dignitas can come out of this one. I hate to say that as a commentator, because we try to build the excitement, but at the moment, I'd be an absolute fool to say that they have a hope in hell to come back from this one. They haven't taken a base yet, which is one thing. No base turrets, but I think it's only a matter of time. Here we go. They're going to build up towards the Baron. Baron will get taken down already. They have the ward, so they can see that they're there. They will flash through. I wondered if Rayman will go through towards Skara there. Crescendo went across. That's going to be Skara going down. Insta-popped immediately and going straight. Meanwhile, Reginald actually just closing down on Severe as well there. So Severe goes down. Nunu trying his best to get away from that one. Having to pop anything he can to run away there. And that is, well, it's going to be a 5-on-3 moving in towards the main base in the middle there. So that tower's going to go down very quickly. They're going to tank it because, well, hell, everybody's got a Warmog.
They've all got Warmogs. They can just tank every turret on the way in there. Actually, Void Boy coming in. He needs to be careful there. They don't just dive into him. But I think Dignitas now, they know this is pretty much a foregone conclusion. They're going to be, in my opinion, focusing already probably on this next game and what they're going to do against this TSM team who, at no real point of it, right from the start, they've pushed almost every single lane, had the advantage with the CS, just been a very dominant force. And there were a lot of predictions that said TSM are going to be the team that get through this one, but Dignitas, their heads will be down a little bit, but they need to pick them back up because they still have a chance in this semi-final. With it being best of 3, they're still going to have a couple of matches that they need to win in a row, which is no easy task against a team that are in form like TSM are at the moment. But this one, just a matter of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I'm also intrigued as to Reginald. When I was talking to him, we were sat down, he says, I've got an AP champion that nobody knows about yet. that I might pull out. I don't know whether I need to do it for Dignitas or whether I pull it out for Moscow 5. I guess you guys on the forums can have a guess at what that is. I'm not too sure. I couldn't try and eke it out of him. I literally listed through all the AP champions and I was trying to see if I got any eyebrow raises off him or anything, but he just wasn't giving anything away.
Reading that body language.
Yeah, reading that body language. The face just staring at me. It's like, no, not going to say no, not having any of it. Reginald cleansing off straight away. That stun there. Scarra's going to be the target. Scarra just about trying his best to get away from that one. Crescendo goes across the rest of Dignitas. Army Kutipoi getting absolutely burnt down. That will be Nunu going down as well. No, he's got away on towards the fountain. Will they dive onto it? No, they do not. And, well, they hadn't actually taken the top inhibitor. Doesn't matter. Let's just take those Nexus turrets and finish this game off 18-1. And Reginald doing his best to actually take them down on the fountain. Now, Nunu's not having any of it, because he's just stood right at the back. So, no, you're not killing me on this fountain. You're not going to get a highlight reel. We will just take the Nexus instead. So, TSM taking a considerable, very, very strong first map there, Joe. How are Dignitas going to come back from that one? Because it wasn't even close. They got absolutely obliterated. And right from the start as well, the odd one was in the jungle right from the start. Moscow 5-like. Down the bottom, Chaos completely destroying Army Kutipoi. Obviously picked on the fact that they didn't have the sustain to keep them alive. And from the word go, X-Special was straight in Army Kutipoi's face and saying, I'm going to poke you this entire lane phase. And he actually just got zoned out by Sona.
Everybody's been talking about how Moscow 5 have seemingly danced past everyone in the group stages and in the playoffs, but I tell you what, that performance from TSM was just flawless.
Yes, and let's not forget, they've not dropped a map either. So, Moscow 5 have gone through pretty much flawlessly. TSM went through their group. They blitzed it 3-0, no problem. Obviously brushed SK aside as well, just like Moscow 5 have. So this really is building up to potentially the dream final that... really has been started by Reginald, I guess. It's just saying, I want Moscow 5.
Yeah, we had to have that one. There was only one death. I guess we can show the post-match score screen, but it only just confirms what we've just seen in the last 30 minutes and 3 seconds. Reginald, 4-0-3. Odd one, 2-1-3. Chaos, 5-0-6. Rainman, 5-0-2. X-Special, 2-0-8. And... I'm not even going to go down the other side because we should be focusing on the positives of this game, which is TSM playing so solidly, so good, not really skipping a beat throughout the entire game. As you said, the farming on every single lane in the jungle, the invasions were brilliant. We saw Reginald, I think, from those 273, from his 273 CS, I guess. 30, 40 of them were wraiths that he stole while he was farming that middle lane. Just on all fronts there, TSM, to be frank, were the better team.
Well, and look at the level difference. Army Kutipoi, the AD carry, only hit level 12. Voyboy, the top lane, only hit level 13. It's a huge difference, and obviously they got 18, 17, 17 across the board. And really, Army Kutipoi, obviously 170 is not great. Didn't have the heals, obviously, coming in from Locust, other than the single heal summoner spell that he's got. That's not really going to cut it. Obviously, having to eat potions constantly.
He did use himself, I think, more than anything, Locust.
Yeah,
he had to keep himself alive.
Yeah, and he just got completely targeted, and which is interesting because we haven't seen it that often. Obviously, we've seen that Chaos and Special have been a very strong lane, but we've not seen the bottom lane. It's generally been a complete AFK farm session down the bottom there, other than when maybe a jungler comes in. But as we missed, I actually missed it because I'm just so not used to seeing it. AD carry just absolutely destroyed him down the bottom there.
Hello, I'm in the bush. Quick draw. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, there's the turret.
3 shots, you're dead, which is... as an AD carry against the opposition, it feels good.
Feels really good.
But it's just not normally seen in a tournament realm.
Not in a semi-final, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not in a semi-final. So 30-minute game there, that's a fairly short one. Actually, I think TSM could have probably closed it out earlier than they did, but they played it safe, which is, they're in the semi-final, all credit to them. So I guess we're going to cut to a quick break, and obviously we're going to have the next map coming up. The teams are playing in the gaming area. They're not on the main stage, so they're in the gaming area. They've got like a ring of security sort of behind them, just keeping them players away from their roped off. So there's a lot of people in that gaming area today, because obviously we've had the likes of Navi winning this morning. Massive cheers going on in there, because obviously the Ukrainian team, they've made it into the final against SK, I believe?
Against SK,
Against SK, so...
Actually, I talked to Nif earlier, and he said, how did SK do against Moscow 5 in Counter-Strike? And I was like, yeah, they won 2-1. He's like, well, at least one of us beat them.
At least one of us won because we got dominated. But Candy Panda was actually looking on the bright side to say, hey, Hanover's where it counts. And it really is.
That's true,
You know,
very true.
all these teams that we've been talking about, they've all qualified for Hanover. $100,000 at Hanover in CB. That's going to be in March. Obviously, there's Intel Extreme Masters in Sao Paulo coming up. That's only going to be StarCraft, though, so there's not going to be any League of Legends there for you guys. There will be a couple of show matches, I believe.
I think with local teams is the plan with that one.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're looking forward to the Intel Extreme Masters, the grand finals in Hanover. CB is enormous. If you guys have not seen it, you're going to really love it when you get to see it. Just think Gamescom sort of style, massive crowds, yeah, crazy, but bigger. And obviously a lot more money on the line and 12 teams as well.
It's going to be an amazing thing, but we're not there yet. We've still got Kiev to kick over. So we're only in the first match of this semi-final. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, it's match 2 of TSN versus Dignitas. Don't go anywhere.
And he goes jumping in. Amazing round. Great hatching from Taz.
Peak flashes in and casts the ultimate. Lina, 20 health left. Oh no, she will flash. The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units. The amazing defense champion of the Intel Extreme Masters. The Intel Extreme Masters is...
The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units. The amazing defense champion of the Intel Extreme Masters.
Amazing round. Great hatching from Taz.
Peak flashes in and casts the ultimate. Lina, 20 health left. Oh no, she will flash. The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units with an amazing defense. Champion of the Intel Extreme Masters.
Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge here in Kiev, Ukraine. Demon just strangling me, and whoever the guy who posted on Reddit, I bet he wears his scarf tomorrow. I've took it off, so you lost your bet, sunshine.
Yeah. I actually thought about just bringing a scarf just to feel fitted in.
Cold.
Anyway, let's get straight into it because the picks and bans have already began, so we will not be able to waffle too much. So immediately bans from Dignitas on the left side this time. We'll be banning out Rammus, Gragas, and Karthus. So going that Gragas once again there. Kennen and Graves being banned out this time by TSM, so they're probably expecting Dignitas to maybe go for that first pick. Graves, obviously, Chaos was tremendous on Graves in the last match. And, well, Kennen, it's interesting, actually, sorry about that. He has been overly used in the US, I guess you could say, of late. He is very strong, and interestingly, Moscow 5 are going, AD Kennen maybe? I did actually speak to Chaos earlier. I said, are you going to go AD Kennen? He's like, maybe. But I guess
not. He
not.
won't tell us anything.
No, you couldn't get anything out of
tell anyone else anything they're going to do. So the 3 bans for each team are out. Lee Sin was the final ban for TSM. Obviously, we did see the last one, the odd one on Lee Sin. Played great, did a great job. Lots of invasion. It was all
Maokai is available.
Good. Yeah, Maokai is there. That could be his first choice for Dignitas. They've had a few minutes in between games, which I think was more needed for Dignitas rather than TSM. The fact that they got pretty much destroyed, if we're being kind to them, in that last game probably means that break in between was very much needed to have that talk to get things down, and it looks like Maokai will indeed be that first pick. Yeah,
picked up. So I Will Dominate is going to be, well, I'm guessing I Will Dominate was going to be on Maokai at the top there. In the jungle, it could possibly at the top. That's obviously where Maokai generally started out. Everyone used to play him at top. Now it's almost become a, oh, well, your Maokai's there, therefore you're in the jungle. Reginald also just trolled me as well in the chat, basically saying, you want to see that super secret AP now? You're not going to.
You're not going to get
to see it. Sorry, guys. They feel obviously pretty confident after the last game, which is pretty easy to think, wonder why. So TSM at the moment just went for those to pick out their first picks. It is going to be Sivir down the bottom, so that's Chaos is going to be happy with that one. We've just seen IEM not having that so much success on him. Possibly we could see a Vayne now come out, obviously, for Dignitas against him. I'm not too sure what they're going to go with. IEM tends to go with Corki as well, so that's a possibility. And, of course, Soda being picked up immediately. Soraka is available this time. I'm wondering if they're going to think, okay, we kind of need a bit of heal support down the bottom there.
Yeah, the sustainability just wasn't there in that last one with Nunu. They did have summon a heal, which is this one-time thing.
Corki, yeah,
there wasn't a IEM is going to be picking up Corki. We saw him yesterday actually playing Corki against Cypher in their final group game, and Rai is going to be the pick out for Dignitas. Very possibly, maybe that'll change here.
No, I think they're going to stick with that one. Yeah. Rise was banned out in the first game, so Skara going to get to play Rise in the middle there, and I wonder what Reginald's going to use to counter Rise. We're waiting for the Rayman, the old one, to make their picks. Of course, this can easily be switched around. They'll be having the discussions. They're in the gaming area. They're actually on. They're not back to back. They're either side of each other, so they can shout abuse across the corridor to one another. Which actually has happened. Reginald was trolling Skara at the fridge, actually. It's like he saw Skara come walking in behind me while we stood at the bar, and he's like, hey, don't worry, I don't need to worry about this, because Skara's just been feeding this whole tournament, and Skara's just got this big grin on his face. He's like, yeah, whatever. But, Gangplank going to be picked by TSM. Could easily be at the top or in the jungle, either or. Probably going to be at the top, I would have thought, so whether the Rayman's going to be running with that one. The old one could certainly take it. Skarner's also available for the jungle, which is a possibility, whether he's going to think to go with it. Okay, Reginald's going to stick with Cassiopeia. He's quite happy to go with that one against Rise in the mid, which is certainly viable. He was by far the strongest farmer in the last game with Cassiopeia. Of course, we saw him taking those wraiths every single time. Dignitas now with the picks, Joe.
I'll see what's going to come out. Obviously, they do have the Maokai, most likely in the jungle, Rise in the middle, plus Corki down bottom. So we'll see what support they decide to stick with Corki, plus their top lane. I'm interested to see whether TSM do play that gangplank in the jungle, whether he's going to be going up top. We've seen some very, very effective gangplank counter-jungling in the games this tournament as well. That's a big possibility, and it looks like we could have Alistair.
Which is actually, Alistair's been played a lot, he's always played actually, he's a pretty strong support in the US scene, so it's no shock to see him coming out there, and we're going to have Aurelia at the top there. So that's actually a pretty strong, sustainable team by Dignitas, pretty much strong throughout the levels. There's no particular like early or late peaking required for that one, so it's a fairly safe pick from Dignitas. They're not going for anything desperation moves in there. So TSM, how are they going to react to that one? The final pick, X-Special, will be making it. Of course, he was a very strong Sona in the last game. I'm interested how that one's going to work out. And obviously, you do have the heal from Alistair. You also got the pulverized headbutt in there, so possibly a little bit more aggressive there. And it is going to be Rainman on Teemo up the top there, so it will be the odd one on Gangplank in the jungle. So we saw Teemo. I can hear a really loud shriek, and I reckon it's probably Freak. It's Freak. It's probably Freak. So I go, oh my God! I'd be intrigued. I didn't actually get to hear him when he was commentating yesterday when the Rayman picked up Teemo. So, and of course, you know, probably was a year ago that he was playing on the Rayman was playing on Teemo non-stop. It was like that's what he was kind of famous for it. And he kind of dropped away in tournaments. He's not really played it in tournaments for quite a while, and obviously he's decided to return to it as of late. So, those are your picks and bans. They've managed to adjust themselves without any remakes, which is great. The tournament client's been working fine throughout this event. We're going to go straight in. Obviously, we have a slight delay. It's probably around about 30-second delay. I think it calculates to, you'll see the little delay thing pop up the top there. It's about 10 seconds. And then obviously the stream delay. So it's 1 second, in fact. It's very quick. So, Joe, what do you think is going to happen with this one? I mean, TSM, we've just seen incredibly strong in the last game. Dignitas have gone for, I think, a slightly more aggressive team this time out. Yeah. Obviously, I Will Dominate going to be on Maokai in the jungle this time, could possibly invade. Of course, Alistair as well. And don't forget to go to our Twitters as well. It is Twitter, Joe_Miller, and Twitter.com/LOL
expert.
Yeah, /LOL expert, apparently. QVDman is the Twitter for myself. And we do try and keep you updated on what's actually happening at the tournament, you know, if we're missing out on things. And, of course, don't forget to go on towards the Facebook site, which is IEM TV, which is against all the rules we've been told throughout this tournament. It is Intel Extreme Masters, not IEM, which Intel would be happy with. You know, they have, of course, got their Twitter. It's at Intel EM.
Yeah, Intel EM on Twitter. Sorry for scratching my E, by the way. That was a little bit weird. But
I just ignore it. You know, don't get anyone with it.
It wasn't inside my ear. That would be just disgusting and weird. But it was just a bit of a scratch. Anyway. Enough of that crap. Let's get into the game because we've got Dignitas versus TSM. This is game 2. TSM with a 1-0 lead in the best of 3. They win this, they're going to go through to the grand final to set up, I think I can safely say, what everyone wanted to see in the grand final, which would be, versus Moscow 5. Yeah,
so let's see if we get an invade this time between the two teams. If you just tuned in, let's give you a quick rundown before they do manage to bump heads in the river, which is looking like they're heading towards. Ping goes down, and that's a clairvoyant straight away on Dignitas, so TSM see where they are. It is going to be Voidboy on Aurelia up the top there, Armacute by on Corky. He will be down the bottom as the AD carry. Locust is going to be in the support with Alistair. Scoura in Rise on mid. And it will be I Will Dominate on Maokai in the jungle for TSM. TSM 1-0 up in this game if you've just tuned in. Chaos down the bottom on Severe. Reginald in the mid on Caitlin, I nearly said. Cassiopeia. Teemo will be played up on the top lane by the Rain Man. And the odd one in the jungle on Gangplank with X-Special playing an absolute immaculate support in the last game on Sona. Can he repeat that performance? The ward has gone down from TSM, so they're keeping an eye on those Wraiths, and it's looking like they're going to go for a potential invade here. Whether they're going to try and take the Wraiths early, I'm not too sure. The Rayman has gone back up towards the top. Dignitas have backed to wide. They've already got a double present in the Wolves there from I Will Dominate, and they're going to probably help out on the blue in a second. We're still not too sure what Reginald and Chaos are planning at here. I think they're more just keeping an eye for any potential invades, while X-Special helps out the odd one taking down those Wolves.
Yeah, Wolves are going to go down super quick, as you can expect there with Maokai. Actually, Voidboy is just going to hang around and help him kick off that blue buff as well.
They took a few raids actually down there. So yeah, Reggie Bro and Chaos taking a couple of raids between them and then just leaving one there. Nasty play.
Sneaky. Getting in there and taking them away, which is so. In the last one, Reginald stealing the wraiths almost every single time that they spawned. I think even after a while, Dignitas weren't even going to their wraiths anymore. They were just like they're just probably gone because Reginald's taking them. Actually, Reginald obviously facing off against Skara on Rise in the middle. After that last game where we did see Reginald pretty much outplaying Skara in the middle. We'll see how he does this time around. Actually, Odd One already going around here to have a bit of a steal onto that red buff. I Will Dominate is coming in towards it now. As the Odd One went away. I'm not sure if he saw that, to be honest, but he is going to go in there. He is actually going to see. He isn't going to get the red buff, but he could even push in to try and get a kill. Flash use from I Will Dominate to try and get himself out of there. Nice. Odd One will say thank you very much for that present, which just helped him finish off the red buff in time. Gets himself out, takes it with the smite. No problem whatsoever. So already the first signs of the counter jungling coming on. And again, Reginald is pushing this mid lane super heavily.
Yeah, and he also was a great bit of teamwork. Reginald actually moved down there here to make sure that Rise couldn't cut him off and go down and help, obviously, Maokai. And immediately he saw Alistair trying to come up there, but it was all too little too late. The smite went straight down. So very nice play from the Odd One here, jungling very well throughout this tournament and showing his a little bit of superiority in the jungle. It's going to be interesting to see how that one matches up should they make the final. Special push in being aggressive, sitting at the front there while Chaos happily farms up the Boomerang Blade going straight through the pair of them. Let's have a look towards the top. Teemo is sitting and hiding, spitting that dirty dots onto towards Voidboy. Does have a push onto his lane. He's going to be probably a little slower in the CS than Voidboy early on, but I think he'll be able to keep up no problem. Let's just have a quick towards... well, Dominate was going to have a look around, but decided against it. So... yeah, I mean, CS-wise, there's nothing dramatic sort of laying out just yet. Corki is pretty low on CS at the moment, only 9 compared to Siva's 22, but that's a 10 difference. We'll see how that one, whether it snowballs or not, I'm keeps by. Can he just keep having to pick up that farm? He's having to dodge those Boomerang Blades all the way through.
Yeah, and he's going to have to continue that throughout this entire game as well. You can bet on that. Chaos, of course, had a stormer of a game, the last one, playing his Graves against Sivir, so kind of changing roles a little bit for this second matchup. We have seen Aurelia go home already. Ninja Tabby picked up, plus a few health pots as well, or the, what are they called now, Phoenix Bun, here for the Lunar Revel, which we've got running on the tournament client as well. Meanwhile, down at bottom, bit more aggression from Dignitas. Actually started to come out of their tower range that little bit more. Locust going to be pushed straight back. There is a ward in that bottom side, so they've got a good amount of vision. That's something that Dignitas are going to need to be careful about when it gets to that stage. Teemo has also gone home, by the way, picking up Doran's Blade, cloth armor. I think he started with boots. I didn't actually notice that right at the start, but no, he's got those items now. That's what really matters, as Odd One surely also going to head himself home now after finish in a round in that jungle.
Yeah, Teemo just returning back to top lane, got himself a Doran's Blade and an armor to go with those boots, and also picking up a ward, which he just placed down in the river. So he mokes his way up. He had pushed that lane quite considerably, and Reginald also now just gone back. So Reginald picking up a second Doran's Ring, and to go with those boots. So Aurelia at the moment up top is pushed on tower. No worries, he's just been back to buy as well. And CS-wise, between the two, it is pretty much even there. Back in towards the mid, very much a case of Reginald leading the charge. Skara had gone back early on, picked up that Ruby Crystal, trying to build towards the Tear of the Goddess is the word I'm after. I'm not too sure whether he actually got sent back. I didn't manage to get see. I guess he would be, because you surely would have thought he would have saved up towards that Tear of Goddess early on. Ward just been placed down the bottom there by Dignitas in the bushes. Just keeping an eye on the Odd One, actually, because I Will Dominate is close by towards Reginald. Is he going to go towards Reginald? Is he going to go towards the Wraiths? He's a little bit too late if he wants the Wraiths. Instead, he's just going to have to back off and go towards his own Wraiths. And giving his position away, puts that ward down pretty obviously as well on the way through. So at the moment, Joe, very much all square, and we do have a bit of a anti-warding there. Nobody really spotting towards back and forth. No pink wards being used either so far. It is a little bit early on. They're quite expensive.
Yeah, and actually, things down the bottom have changed a little. Bottom lane have changed a little bit, is what I meant to say. They've actually pushed fairly heavily. Chaos did take some damage. Obviously, he's got that fairly consistent heal from X Special, but he's still behind in CS by around about 20 or so. We are going to see that push in middle. Scara surely going to have a few problems. Actually, Reginald is the one now in trouble. He will get the kill, though. Can he get out of this situation? He did have the Ignite on him, but he is going to get away from that 2 versus 1. Great play from Reginald to pick up first blood for TSM. Down at the bottom, we are going to see the push. Once again, they're going to focus in onto Locust, especially going fairly low, but it should be safe from this one anyway. That bit of damage exchange, boomerang going across, didn't quite catch Cutie Pie the 2 times that he could have. That could have been a different story there. Maybe Chaos would have pushed in. Odd One is also going to head his way up to the top, which, oh, he's not. He's actually going to try and steal away the blue. Or not. He's just going to put a ward.
He's going to go for it, yeah. He's just going to ward that one up. He's going to be prepared for it because that is exactly where I Will Dominate is going, along with Rise. You can see Aurelia also coming down to join, so they're going to be trying to pull that blue. Whether they're going to try and steal it, you can see the Odd One now working his way around there. Wouldn't have seen Scara, I don't think, just passing by there. Scara now coming back to mid, so Reginald will have called that one. Reginald now heading over, making it pretty obvious he's going for it. Oh, Smite there used. The Odd One does manage to get the kill. I Will Dominate is going to go down as well, and it's going to be the Rayman picks up the kill there. Cassiopeia is also heading off, so completely cuts off Scara, so very nicely played. TSM really on the ball today. They have the putting the wards down. Really, it's the Odd One. He's really on his game at the moment, absolutely dominating. I Will Dominate in the main jungles. He's managed to counter him. He's managed to ward him out. He's got complete control. We saw him also, obviously, remember, taking that red very early on. So very strong performance so far.
Yeah, being flawless, actually, throughout this. That was a nice call as well to bring Rainman down to get his first kill of the game as well. And he's going to go straight back home and buy himself a little bit more. Actually, pings going down towards the end of the ramp. I guess they want to have a ward in position there, or just making sure that no one came in for that blue buff, which has gone over now to Reginald. He's slightly ahead in terms of his level, in terms of CS, 57 to 32, so already making a big difference with that one. Scara, as you mentioned, was forced to go home a little bit earlier on. Got the 2 Sapphire crystals built up, but still not finishing off that tier. We have seen Corky go home. He's triple Doran's Blade now, plus the tier 1 boots, compared to double Doran's plus Berserker Greaves on Severe.
CV being used there just on the Maokai on the red buff, so a little bit too late on that one. Obviously TSM trying to keep their eye on the path that he's using, so they're going to know the exact time, and they've just seen him take it down. Rainman in the meantime easily taking down the minions, and continues to check on Voidboy. Voidboy porting back. So have a look back down the bottom. We can see Chaos has popped his ulti, so he made a little go on towards Locust there, just missed out in the action there. I can see Gangplank also moving towards the Dragon there, so I expect TSM, who've just used their ulti, to push forward. Yeah, they've got that wave going forward. Now they're going to go up. They're going to take that Dragon. I'm not sure if Dignitas is going to be able to do too much about it. You can see that Locust just went and put that ward in the tri-bush, but absolutely nowhere near this one. Reginald also is cutting off the path of Scar. You can see him continually putting that poison field down, say, no, you're not going to have any vision of it. Maokai managed to throw a single sapling out, but that was all too well executed by TSM for Dignitas, and they are in full control yet again in the early stages.
Full control, I don't think quite as bad as before. We are going to see the pressure being put down onto Rayman. Voidboy is very, very healthy, but surely Rayman will be able to get away from this one. He's got his flash up, and he will flash straight over the top. Keeps himself alive. Meanwhile, down at bottom, we did see Locust just trying to keep X Special out of the way. He is slightly behind there in terms of his level. Chaos also got that advantage over Cutie Pie. Ward in the brush, and X Special just trying to keep Alistair away. That's Locust, of course. Meanwhile, Odd One has returned back to his jungle path up in the top side of things, as it really has also now finished the fade, which means probably going to try and put as much pressure onto Teemo at this point of the game as possible. He did finish his Wriggles Lantern, did Rainman, though, before he came back earlier, and he's got the red buff now.
Yeah, just been given that red buff by the old one, so helping out his top lane. Now he's going to have that red buff against Voyboy, which of course he's been...
middle. Reginald actually taking a little bit of damage here. Actually, he's going to focus in onto Scar. Is he going to get the kill? No, he's not. Voyboy comes in, but Gangplank... Actually, it was Cassiopeia's dot that managed to finish off in the end. Nice timing from the odd one again. Real great communication by TSM. That one gank proving, well, it's... actually the second kill in 2 matches for Dignitas as well, so they're already up to the level that they got after 30 minutes in that last game, but still Cassiopea now up to 2-1-0 compared to 0-2-1 of Rise, and that can only be good for Reginald, who's on form.
Yeah, now they're going straight towards Chaos down the bottom there. Can they manage to finish him off? He cleansed it off, actually very nicely played. Keeps the bouncing blades going and just drawing the meanwhile in towards the turret. The turret up the top has gone down as well, and Chaos on absolutely nothing, just about hanging on in, using that health pot. Will he bother going back, or will he just let the health pot run and continue farming? I think he was just going to stick around and continue farming. Like I mentioned, the Rayman really is pushing the pace up top there. Voyboy having all sorts of problems at the moment with Aurelia versus Teemo, which is something I don't often get to say, certainly not in the European commentary that we do. But Reginald in the mid, yeah, like you say, he managed to pull off that kill, despite the fact he went down, so that makes him 2-1-0. Corki has just ported back, and that's going to be Expression and Cake's now going to push, continue on, and continue to farm, because Expression now comes back, sustain back on, and, well, it is... a quick farming session from TSM. They are going to back off, so Chaos is going to go by. Corki has just been back aboard, so he's got triple Dorans and a long sword now. We have the odd one. Does he have his timing down? Is he just going to walk in and put his Wriggles ward down? He doesn't have the Wriggles ward available, so he's not going to do that. I think the blue buff is about to spawn. Yes, it is, right on the dot. And Dignitas literally just placing a ward the second the odd one walks into that bush. And that was a ward from the Rayman, also putting a couple of mushrooms up and around there, so to cover his escape if they should need to run up towards north. You can see the rest of the teams actually all gathering around here, so TSM completely moved in around here. Corki down the bottom, but we do have X Special as well around there, so blue buff now being pulled. I Will Dominate is making his way towards there. Suddenly realised that Reginald comes around, tries to flash an ulti. Instead, it's going to be... Oh, I Will Dominate actually decides to dive in there for some reason. Voyboy now getting caught out with a crescendo as well. He will manage to back out of that one. Remember, the blue buff was also taken. It was Reginald, I think, that picked it up in amongst that. Very nicely played. TSM really on their game here. And now they could continue pushing down on this bottom lane. They do actually have Gangplank with them, who's just clearing out that top lane. They did have, remember, the back exit covered, so if they still can just continue to farm and maybe even train them through a couple of mushrooms on the way. But really, TSM are really executing everything very well. Great teamwork used. Chaos was down the bottom, continued to pick up the farm as well. So between the two ADs, 105 to 118, so slight advantage, that 10 CS advantage which we mentioned earlier on that Chaos has continued to keep. This time he's going all full aggressive on Armor He wants to finish him off. The Boomerang Blade though missing through there. Armor Pen coming out from Armor as well. So a little bit of back and forth between the two, both burning all abilities they can and continue to beat down. Armor is going to have to dodge around those Boomerang Blades again as Chaos continues to try and push pressure on him. But this is very aggressive stuff between these two ADs.
Yeah, really aggressive. This time, Cutie Pie managing to hold up that little bit better in terms of his farm, and also both of them are still 0-0-0. No kills happening down at that bottom. Keps needs to be a little bit warier because Alistair is around. Not sure if he's going to be able to land that combo onto him. Actually, we'll just knock him back and keep him away from it. Odd One was also sniffing around there as he came in. Meanwhile, up at top, Voyboy is being constantly pressured time and time again here by Rainman, who's now pushing onto that turret and could do a fair chunk of damage in amongst everything right now.
Yeah, so red buff has just been given to Corki. Cassiopeia at the moment has Maokai just around the side. Oh, Reginald actually tried to steal the Wraiths there. I don't know if he realised that I Will Dominate was actually on them. Laid the poison down on them.
Oh, down at the bottom.
You can see there immediately Locust actually has started to pop his ulti. It's going to be Army Cutie Pie. They're going to switch towards Gangplank. Ulti down. Locust taken down very low. Just managed to use a heal to pull himself out of that. They didn't want to pull aggro from the tower. X-Special now joining them as well. He can come across. Will actually use a power cord. Didn't manage to. I thought he was going to steal it there, but Chaos did pick it up. Meanwhile, in the mid, Reginald picks up the one kill. Will he manage to get a second on I Will Dominate? May well be able to finish it off. He will. The poison manages to get him down. Very nicely played. And well, TSM are winning battles all across the map. The mid turret is just going to go down. Rayman walks in, says, yo, I can tank this turret, no problem. And down to Dragon Buff, perfectly timed. that will be taken by the odd one. So really very nicely done by TSM. They are playing exceptionally well, just like they were in the first game, and are looking pretty much a shoo-in for the finals here.
They look a very well-oiled machine, and all the practice that they've done together, a very practice-dedicated team as well, which is you have to be, I suppose, to compete at this level.
Actually, I'd like to, you know what, we've talked about, obviously, the conditions that they need to play in the house.
Exactly.
And Chaos was basically saying, you know, for Hanover, he'd love to know, like, what seats they're going to be using, what sort of screens they can use, so they can literally mirror the conditions back in their house, which is actually something, you know, I was talking about the light on in your face or the heating or something like that, but he was going like the extra step and saying,
if they're paying, I can supply him with 2,000 screaming Germans as well.
Yeah, have them in the front room. He wanted the identical kit that they're going to be using at CBIT. He wants to know exactly what they're using so he can just mirror them conditions at home, which is, well, that's dedication.
But right at the same time, I mean, if you don't train under conditions in which you're going to compete, it kind of makes no sense.
Yeah.
In you know, having the whole house and the training and idea and all that stuff. Meanwhile, down at bottom, we could see QTBI being in a little bit of trouble. Actually, Valkyrie's away, keeping himself safe from that one. His turret's not so healthy, so has to watch out a little bit. Meanwhile, Teemo and Gangplank are coming down towards that blue buff, which is currently very mushroomed, let's say. All around it, there's I think every single entry escape could be impossible, to be honest, if Dignitas come in there to try and escape from that one. We are going to see them, though, moving down towards bottom. Maokai is going in there in the middle. You can see Reginald doing all the damage once again onto Skara. And Maokai has been spotted. He's stood right on top of the ward at this point. Actually, Gangplank is coming down. Cassiopeia will start to move in, but Skara's going in there as well. And they're going to back away from this one, so a bit more free farm for Chaos. Down the bottom, it's now 164 to 130 CS, so a decent 30 ahead. Meanwhile, Gangplank, Cassiopeia are going to be pushing this middle turret, and are they going to be able to take it down? I don't think so, although the way that Reginald's going about things right now, Odd One's tanking the turret. They need to be careful because Voyboy is starting to work his way back over towards this middle area. Reginald's not even concerned, he just went straight to the wolves and just took him.
Yeah, well, he knows that he's got a complete mushroom path to the left side. Meanwhile, the Rayman will take this bottom turret. So first, inner turret taken down. Bottom turret also goes down on the outer to Chaos down the bottom there. So really, they are pushing the pace all across the map. And Dignitas, you know, they're slowly but surely losing all of their jungle. The top is just unavailable. It's just mushroomed up, warded up, completely covered. So the Rayman doing a fantastic job and continuing to farm as well. So he's up to 166 to Aurelius 152, keeping it pretty close between the two. Cassiopeia, in the meantime, 188 to 90. Literally double what Skara's got at the moment. And this is Skara that's obviously well known for that big 300 CS on Karthus. Really been completely being out-farmed by Reginald at the moment on Cassiopeia. And yeah, we know it's a lot easier to farm with Cassiopeia, but still, double is a huge figure for the two AP carries. So Maokai at the moment, he's doing his best to try his best to get any jungle at all, and it's just like there really isn't anything here. He's going to go towards the blue buff, door's warded up, walks straight into a mushroom, tosses out a single present just for X-Special to collect, and now they've all been back and bought. So what have they got? So we've got Tyr and Catalyst obviously on Rise. Meanwhile, we've got Infinity Edge now on Severe. We've got Reginald, who is on 510, by the way. Got a Rylers and a Will of the Ancient. So that's going to be helping out, I guess, as well with the mushrooms that Teemo are going to be laying down in there if they are nearby at the time.
Move.
Yeah, so we've got that Frozen Mallet as well on Teemo. Clairvoyant's going down, so that's going to be saying, yeah, we're actually taking your red, and there's really nothing you can do about this one. Reginald's sitting in and around there. Ward goes down. They're going to come around. Reginald nearly getting caught out, but Locust just backs away, and that is going to be a red buff again going to Chaos. So they really are completely dominating all of the jungle in their own map and, of course, on Dignitas' side. So, which is why you can see this huge difference up the top there. 7-1 in kills, 9k gold, 4 towers taken down. Really are pushing their presence on the map, Joe.
They certainly are, and we're moving towards that kind of scoreline that we saw in the first game. It ended 30 minutes and 3 seconds, I think, was the exact time that we saw in
top.
game number 1. Up at top, we may see them pushing in there. Rayman is going to catch Voyboy out. The question is he going to be able to finish off any kind of kill? We do see them pushing in. Gangplank, ulti will go down. Odd One is going to work in there. Will pop the buff, and Voyboy is going to flash himself out of things just to try and stay safe from this one. I'm not sure that he can continue, to be honest. Teemo is chasing constant harassment, but he will survive that one, Voyboy. But still, you know, they've got such great coverage in this top side of the jungle. They've got complete control of that. And imagine, you know, if they went for Baron now, what Dignitas would actually be able to do. Not a whole lot. I mean, if they're going to see him coming, number one. Number two, they can, by the time they've run through all the mushrooms, they probably can't get there in time anyway.
Yeah, and they are going for Baron as well. And Reginald now got that bottom, the mid turret pretty much down. Meanwhile, they will be taking Baron quite easily, really, with Gangplank and Rayman in there with special support. There's absolutely nothing they could do about it. Kirks has taken down the bottom turret, so they're just pushing all 3 lanes at once, as well as completely picking up Baron. They had backed away from it because Dignitas had slowly worked around there, dodging all the mushrooms as they go. Oh, looking back towards the mid, though, I can see that they have to go straight for Skara there. Reginald is going to get caught out on the tower, though. Wills manage to survive. No, Skara goes down. Kirks comes back around the side there. Gitaboy getting ripped apart. That Infinity Edge, of course, with that buff, playing all he could, and that tower goes down again. So third inner turret, down. All outer turrets now completely gone, and TSM pushing home because they are 6-0 up in towers, and really their towers untouched at the top, untouched in the mid, and untouched down the bottom. Wow, very, very strong stuff. And maybe giving Moscow 5 something to think about, I don't know. You know, Moscow 5, actually, they were quite clever in their interview. They're like, actually, really, there isn't much of a grudge between us, but, you know, it helps us get viewers. So really playing the game like a boxer, I guess. When you know you're coming up to a big fight, you're trying to build up the fight, and it seems to be working very well because it's looking like that is the fight we're going to get for the finals tomorrow, Joe.
It is looking that way. I don't see, again, this being switched around. I mean, they did manage to take down, finally, Reginald again. He's now 6-2-0, over 200 CS, as is Sivir. Currently just finished, or I say just finished, just bought the needlessly large rod, so going to be painful, to say the least. Actually up to 374 AP at the moment. Does have the blue lassie tee on him as well, which, you know, he can afford to pop those elixirs, actually, especially. He's just clearing out the wards up towards Baron. Chaos is there. The only thing that you don't have is Cassiopeia, who's down at the bottom, obviously, Reginald, but will they try and go for it anyway? I Will Dominate is starting to work his way in there, weeding out the mushrooms as he goes. They're going to try and chase off here. Obviously, TSM don't want to get caught out in a position like that. They need Reginald to be around for this this fight. He's the one with all the kills, basically, on the team. Plus that ulti, and here we go. We are going to see them coming in. Reginald is surely going to get himself across. His ulti will go in there. We have seen the first kills coming down onto Maokai. Skara is the one that's taking all the damage here from Rainman as well. Are they going to be able to finish this one off? I'm not quite so sure. Skara is going to be chased down, is going to be finished off, and that will be 4-0, 4 for nothing. Surely they're just going to back straight off now onto the Baron. Yes, they are. Wise choice from them. And QEPie's actually got to go down bottom now because he's got a big wave of minions, which Reginald pushed previously to that fight down towards the bottom. In the meantime, Rainman feeling he doesn't really need to be in and amongst that Baron area. He can just try it and push this top lane as well and cause even more problems for them. Doesn't want to get too cocky with that one, and that Baron is going to be taken down by TSM. Great, solid play, no mistakes at this point.
No, not a single mistake, and really just amazing work from the Odd One. You know, he's always been talked about as a fantastic jungler, but really he's just showing his own here, and I Will Dominate and just not been able to really counter it at all. He's been pushing, taking his buffs, taking his wraiths. He even had Reginald had taken his wraiths for a large part of that, which is exactly what he's doing once again. A large part of the game is there, and of course he had Chaos as well on Severe at the start taking it, so he's just been hampered from the very start. So great counter jungling, and it's just a mouth-watering matchup for tomorrow should they make it through to the final, which is looking very likely because, you know, both very strong counter junglers between Diamond and the Odd One. great AP mids. It's really got everything about it. And, you know, TSM were saying...
Odd One and Diamonds are going to play in each other's jungle.
Yeah, it's going to just trade jungle. I don't need that jungle, I'm going to use yours. Yeah, and it's great. It's, you know, TSM was saying earlier, if we lose this game, I'm just going to go drinking. Because, frankly, I couldn't, if SK get through to the finals, I kind of want to play Moscow 5 in third place because I just want to beat them. But it's as if they do go out, I'm not going to be too worried. But now that they got to the finals, they're like, we've got to beat Dignitas, man. We've got to beat Dignitas. We've got to face Moscow 5 in that finals. It really has been hyped up by both teams, and it's actually quite genuine from Reginald as well. It's not like it's something he really does want to beat
He's not
them.
really hyping it up. He's actually quite passionate about facing Moscow 5, and it's looking like he's going to get his wish. 45.8k gold to 29.5. That is a massive difference. We're approaching 30-minute mark, which is where we ended in game number 1, and it's been a very similar story. You know, besides the champions that are slightly different, even if you look down the scoreboard, it's actually telling a very similar story to the last game as well.
Yeah, and of course, the bottom lane has been incredibly strong throughout this as well. We can't forget KX and Xpecial. Xpecial especially, he's not exactly the greatest bit of English I've ever used in my life, but was fantastic in the last game, fantastic in this game. I wasn't sure how it was going to work with Alistair this time around, but he really, again, has drilled that advantage home down at bottom, which is something we haven't seen that much throughout this tournament. We haven't seen the AD carries really dominating, but these two, this pairing throughout the tournament, have been incredibly strong. I'm not too sure how Genja will deal with that in M5. I guess we'll see tomorrow, because it is looking like TSM are just going to continue their dominance as they take down the inhibitor, really without any at all defense from Dignitas. They're going to lose yet another one. They are going to try and pin on Reginald, though. Gangplank ulti will go down, and Reginald just manages to get away from that one. Reggie does, in fact, take down I Will Dominate, and Locust is just going to walk away from that one. He does have his ulti running, which will about save him from that poison that Reginald had on him. So very nicely played. TSM take down that second inhibitor pretty much without Dignitas being able to do anything. They're going to walk towards their Nexus turrets. Are they going to be able to throw anything in there? Will be a dive in. The last ditch effort from Dignitas. I'm not too sure it's quite going to be enough. It is going to be a dancing cow in the middle. He'll get taken down by that crescendo put across him, and Sona will finally go down. That will be the third kill and the fourth kill of the entire game for Dignitas, and the Nexus turrets will drop. TSM are going to come through victorious. GG, well played, and please beat the Russians from I Will Dominate. So USA versus Russia in the final, which is, I guess, it's a matchup what we really wanted. You know, it's been coming throughout this tournament. Both teams coming into the final, reminiscent of IEM New York. Both teams coming through without dropping a single map. They have looked very strong, both these. So who will turn out the favourite? I guess we're going to see tomorrow. I think they're going to have a quiet night in tonight, TSM.
I hope they do, because they really need to prepare for this game tomorrow. But, you know, 4 kills lost over 2 games. That's almost as good as Moscow 5, actually. How many did they drop against SK? The first game was more,
The first game was a few more, but not a great deal, and only 1 in the second. But if we look at the score chart, you can see really, I mean, it was just a dominant performance from the word go. Reginald picking up a 7-2-5 in there. Gangplank playing perfect jungle. 1-0-10. Xpecial 1-1-8. These are just great stats across. Obviously, Rainman was also given that buff very early on. Of course, remember that the odd one managed to invade and say, you know what, you can actually take the kill. I don't need it. So which obviously helped him out. Picking up, obviously, getting towards that frozen mallet. Reginald had pretty much the ideal build on Cassiopeia. We saw the Cassiopeia guide from the odd one, from Ocelot earlier on. I actually saw him at the bar. I was like, are you taking tips? Which I guess he was, because he played Cassiopeia, but I don't think he really needed to. So fantastic performance from TSM. Dignitas, you know, they're going to be facing SK in the 3rd, 4th place playoff, which will be played tomorrow. That will be the first game that you'll see on the LoL coverage that we have here at Intel Extreme Masters. But Joe, I mean, the final tomorrow, really, who do you think could take it? Because these teams have both been incredibly strong.
And that's like the ideal. Yeah, really flip a coin. We had that in the Counter-Strike tournament. We've got that here as well. We've got 2 teams who have looked pretty formidable the whole. When I say pretty formidable, they were damn formidable.
Yeah.
The whole tournament.
Nobody's
so
got
far.
close to them.
No one's got close to them, and that's a real amazing thing about this game. That they've had their fair share of online practice and stuff like that, which everyone's had against Moscow 5, and then they just turn up and play with a completely different setup and fool everyone.
And the thing is,
but
everybody thinks they know how to beat them, yet
No one
nobody's done
actually
it
beat
yet.
them.
That against all authorities, there are no slouches in this game. SK, they're pretty good. They've done well in these tournaments. They got completely rolled over. So these guys have practiced against them. They've played against them. They know the tactics they're going to use. Yeah, it just didn't work out because their teamwork is great. It's all very well saying, "Oh, this tactic will work," or "It's easy. You just got to do this." Executed in a game on a stage finals, that's a very different thing. So we're going to have an interview coming up. It will be Reginald, so we'll look forward to that one.
I'll vacate for him.
You're going to vacate for that one, are you? Okay. Well,
you and Reggie are bros.
to be fair, he's been actually talking before he gets here. He's been talking. Should I do smack talk in the interview? Should I really, or should I build it up? Should I be careful? I'm not too sure.
Does he really need to ask whether he should smack talk or what?
Yeah,
of course he should.
He didn't want to do it and then lose and look a complete fool, which. To be fair, he's already done the vlogs on the SoloMid website. So, but really, I mean, okay. So let's look at it down to start with the third, fourth place playoff. There's still money at stake on this one. SK versus Dignitas. Now, personally, I think SK are probably looking the stronger. They did get stomped on by Moscow 5, but they have looked good, and they looked pretty good against Team SoloMid when they played last time. But for me personally, I think SK could probably take that one. Yourself?
I'd agree with you on that one, actually.
Yeah.
I think they've looked, out of the two teams that are going to meet there with Dignitas as well, I think they're going to be the stronger one. Ocelot, in the interview earlier, he said, we haven't won this tournament, but to all our fans, we promise you we're going to win something. So they're still hungry to take third position as well. That's something that I guess playing for the SK Gaming organization, they want to do for those guys as well that have spent the money to get them here and what have you. I'm going to say SK for that one, for the third place game. When it comes to the final, I honestly have no idea. I look forward to Reginald's surprise pick, actually. I'm sure going to bring that one out tomorrow against the Moscow 5 guys. So just super exciting games tomorrow, and just don't miss it. If you miss it, you're a fool.
And don't go in there, guys. We're going to have Reginald on here in a second, so we're just going to have a quick commercial. We're going to switch, and suddenly he's become Reginald.
Become Reginald overnight.
So we'll be back in just a few seconds, guys. Don't go anywhere. Hopefully we will have a break.
And he goes jumping in. Amazing round. Great hatching from Taz.
Big flashes in and cast the ultimate. Lina, 20 health left. Oh no, she will flash. The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units. The amazing defense. Champion of the Intel Extreme Masters.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Joining me, of course, as expected, was Reginald. So, Reginald, a pretty much perfect performance there.
Not really. I died twice, but those deaths were worth it because I kind of dove scare.
We did see the worth it kill. You managed to get the kill there, but I mean, you said yourself you got super secret strats today. You didn't really need to use them for that game. I mean, is there anything else that you think, I don't know, could have gone better? I mean, it went pretty perfect. I think you died. There was 4 deaths across the 2 matches.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we could have played a lot better because we had a really big lead. We could have pressed the advantage much more. But we decided to, just take it slow, and be calm and slowly win instead of rushing into it, because most of the games we lose, we actually get a big lead, and we try to rush things. We try to make big plays, and that's when it goes down and there's a downfall, and we just start losing. So that's mainly our strat now, is just take it slow and aim for the victory, because a win's a win.
Okay, and did you feel more comfortable playing in the normal gaming area rather than on stage? Obviously, it wasn't played on stage, so you guys were pretty much set up throughout the day?
Honestly, I don't think it really mattered. It was kind of because since I'm sitting on the side, right, it's a row, and only the side people can be affected, and I'm on the left side, Rainman's on the right side, and people they're in my peripheral vision, and I can just see them on the side, just talking about it. I'm like, it's hard to focus,
So I assumed you managed to communicate perfectly fine with your team there as well. Obviously, all using voice comms.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, there wasn't really surprisingly there wasn't very much communication. We just played.
Just did it.
Because yesterday, We actually sat down in our apartment that we rented, and we watched all the matches. We went over every single game, and we like analyzed it because like we watched even the interviews, and like the interviews really made us try really hard going into this event. Like this event, like so much surrounding trash talking everywhere, like trash talking from every single team. TSM getting so like so much hate for losing scrims. Like I don't know. Like we just really spent a lot of time studying every team, going into it, and giving it all.
So, I mean, you've used a couple of strats today, pretty much worked flawlessly. The odd one in the jungle just had complete control, it seemed. Is there anything that you've maybe talked about, obviously targeting towards Moscow 5, you got them tomorrow? I'm not going to ask you for any fancy strats that you're going to be using, anything in particular when you watched SK versus Moscow 5 that you thought, we got this covered?
Well, when I was watching them, I'm not going to lie, I was really surprised with their strategy, and it was one of those games where, like, you saw the TSM game with LeBlanc and had San, right? It was one of those games where Ocelot had the last pick, and usually you want to use your last pick to the most you can because it's the last pick, it's the most important pick, and you save that pick. And I felt like SK really didn't maximize their potential with that pick because they could have done so much more. They picked Anivia into Mordekaiser, and Anivia couldn't do anything level 1. Mordekaiser walks in the jungle, takes everything, and it's like, hey, I'm going to take everything, you can't do anything about it. So, I mean, is this one of those games where they got outpicked heavily, and there's nothing they can do about it? But besides from that, I mean, M5 did go into that game, and they did dominate the jungle, did all the fancy things like counter-jungling, taking everything. But I felt like they played kind of sloppy because if you look at the score, it's 8-8, right?
They got overconfident, yeah.
Like, if you're playing a game like that and you have the buff advantage, you have the tower advantage, and you're getting kills, you shouldn't ever give back that lead and be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to die 6 times. The game should just be a complete stomp now.
Just like the second game actually was, yeah, a complete stomp. But they did control it well. And now, obviously, tomorrow you're going to have SK Dignitas. You've just beaten Dignitas. You've seen SK playing. Who do you think is going to win between those two?
I actually don't know. I think both teams are going to come down to picks because they're both good teams, and I feel that if they ban certain champions, like every single tournament so far, like people are focusing on banning Ocelot's pushing champions, right, and forcing him into a weak early game champion, and they're really taking advantage of that, and they're picking early game champions. So I mean, I feel that it's going to come down to bans and picks, and we'll see. But most likely I want SK to win because I'm closer to them. So yeah.
Okay, right. Now, obviously, we're going to have CBIT coming up soon.
Yeah.
Have you guys got anything planned for it? I know there was talk of moving to EU West coming up. We've obviously got around about 2 months running up to CBIT. Is there anything special you got planned? I know SK have basically said we're going to be practicing 12 hours a day all the way up to that one.
Well, the thing is that right now I feel like the North American scene is very weak, and North American players don't take the game as seriously. And since we have a gaming house, we really have to dedicate ourselves to spending more time practicing the game, playing the game, and fully focusing on it. And North American scene is just too weak, in our opinion, to play on. In my opinion, the Euro teams are much stronger overall. Like the competition is very high. Like in Go for LoL, you'll see like some random team win here, some random team win there, and they're all good teams. Like there's 20 good teams there, and there's like 3 good teams in North America, and they're not down to practice. So we have to move to EU to compete at the top level.
Okay, and one big important question: is Chaos really scared of the dark?
Chaos is definitely not scared of the dark. Someone just video or photoshopped that video. I'm not sure.
No, that actually happened here. This light went out. It really did happen. It wasn't photoshopped or anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it really did happen.
I don't know. I get startled pretty easy, I guess. I'm not sure. Yeah.
And I see you've been enjoying the pigeons of Kiev.
Oh, you saw the pigeon video?
Yeah, it's in the pigeons video.
That's crazy. Like, so we're just walking around, and some guy just puts a pigeon on like special settings, like, my friend, pay me, it's my work, and he was so uncomfortable, so I just paid the guy because they put the pigeon on me too.
Yeah, I saw you had like 4. It was like Ace Ventura. Oh. Yeah. So obviously you've been enjoying Kiev. You managed to get a bit of a walk around yesterday, I guess. Have you seen much of the city?
We really didn't walk around the city. It was
snowing.
more like we bought McDonald's and we sat in watching all the games and like studying it. It was because like there's so much trash talking, and if we lose, it's gonna make us look so bad. So we have to win. There's so much on the line.
Well, to be fair, you've made it to the finals pretty much perfectly. You've not really looked like you were going to drop a game whatsoever. So you walked over SK. You've just completely dominated with Dignitas. Is there anything else you may think maybe if there was any other teams here? Obviously, we've not got CLG here. We've not got CLG EU here. Any other teams, even say IG as well, you know, that could have been here that would have put up a barrier, you know, maybe would have been a struggle against?
As of right now, I'm not quite sure because we went into this tournament losing every single scrim, and so I'm not sure where teams are placed. But definitely, I think M5 is up there, and I think they're one of the best teams. And it doesn't matter if we take second, third, fourth. If we lose to M5, we have to beat them. That's our ultimate goal. We're going to go in and beat M5.
But do you think they're going to be, say, a lot of people have used the reference like Dignitas, because obviously Rock Solid became Dignitas. They came out they were around about third or fourth for a long time in the US, and then suddenly they found something clicked. They did some awesome strats, and then everybody figured them out. Do you think that's going to be the same sort of thing with Moscow 5? Say come March, we're going to be suddenly going, oh, they're just another team again?
I definitely don't think so. So, like, their lanes are very strong, and they're always up to try new things. And I don't think any of their players are very limited in champions. In my opinion, Dignitas is very limited in champions. You ban a couple champions out, and they're not half as strong as what they actually are. But Moscow 5 is the real deal, and I think that it's going to be a tough match, but we can come out ahead and win.
Okay, well, it's going to be great to see it. You got any last shout-outs you want to give to your fans or family or anyone else watching?
I want to give a shout-out to my team that's watching right now, a shout-out to my brothers that are watching and my family, and shout-out to all the SoloMid fans. And, yeah, thanks CSL for hosting this event, and I had a pretty good time so far.
Yeah, so we'll soon see. We'll be seeing you tomorrow, no doubt, in some interviews. This is D-Man live here at Intel Extreme Masters in Kiev. That is it for League of Legends today. Don't forget the restream will be running shortly after this one. I don't think we're probably going to be cutting back to Joe because we are done for today, which is great. So join us tomorrow. We're going to have the third, fourth place playoff to start with. That's going to be with Xenon and Freak, and of course then there's finals later on in the day, which will of course be. I nearly said Dignitas for some reason. Team SoloMid versus Moscow 5, and of course that would be myself and Joe Miller. You can catch them on Twitter. It's Joe_Miller, myself, at QVDman. Of course, you've got at Team SoloMid as well, I believe, out there. And of course, there's the SoloMid.net YouTube channel. You can also catch these matches. They're going to be on the YouTube, the Intel Extreme Masters YouTube. Just search Intel Extreme Masters or go to intelextrememasters.com. You'll be able to catch them. But if you've missed the games today, don't worry. The restream will be starting shortly after this one, so you can catch them all again. This is D-Man, and we'll be back tomorrow.
And he goes jumping in. Amazing round. Great hatching from Taz.
Big flashes in and cast the ultimate. Lina, 20 health left. Oh no, she will flash. The shield clutch.
Oh, a blink into all those units. The amazing defense champion of the Intel Extreme Masters.